Well, real quick, I'm just going to tell you about the echo. We're in French because it's faster. That's it. So, we're ready in 3, 2, 1, go. So this is Guacalegend, another Metroidvania in the string that we've had so far. It's we're going to start out here in Romscout's dream house. All the tequila. So, the story of this game is we're a poor agave farmer, and there is a festival about to be held that we're helping set up with. And we happen to meet the president's daughter, who we haven't seen since we were a child. But we're going to skip a lot of that introductory stuff. About 3 months ago, I would have been able to tell you that this game doesn't have a lot of glitches or breaks or anything like that. Nice, got first try. But that's not so anymore. So what I did just there was a glitch we call it the select door glitch. And basically, without going into a whole lot of detail, what I just did was I overwrote what the game thought the main menu was into that region of the map. And we're going to be able to use this to warp back here, and we're going to set up a few other warps along the way. You can only have one active at a time. So now the president's daughter gets kidnapped by an undead Charro. And basically throughout the whole game, we're going to be chasing him, trying to rescue her. So we just died, so I'm going to quit. At the beginning of the game, we don't have a whole lot of movement options. In Metroidvania style, the further you get in the game, the more power-ups you get. Right now, all we have is a basic punch because we're just a regular farmer. But we're about to get the Luchador's mask, which will turn us into a Luchador. Except we're going to do another glitch that we call the Juan Weird thing, because his name is Juan, of course. So because I skipped that cutscene, the game doesn't really know which costume I'm supposed to be in. So it keeps switching back and forth depending on what I'm doing.
You also may have noticed right there when he became a luchador, the game told him that he could have a second player playing the game. And basically this game is like Secret of Mana style drop-in co-op. Which turns out actually to be faster in a lot of cases. But there's pretty much only one person that's crazy enough to actually try running one player or two controllers.
Yeah.
Shoutouts to Frideal.
Yeah, definitely. He's a really amazing runner. Using two-player controller strategies only saves you about 30 to 40 seconds if you nail all of them optimally. So now that we're a luchador, we can roll. Rolling is a lot faster than walking, and we're going to be doing that for a lot of the game. And coming up, we're going to change costumes. We changed to the Alebrije costume, which lets us do twice as much damage, but we also take twice as much damage, which essentially means we die in 2 hits to most enemies, and some enemies can actually kill us in 1 hit. The reason, we switched to Tostada, the female character, simply because her costume is 3 clicks to the right, or to the left on the menu, and Juan is 5 clicks to the right, so save a couple frames. Nice. I got the water glitch. So
oh my god.
If you jump and roll out of the water, like on a certain frame, I'm not really sure what it is, the game constantly thinks you're in water. So every time you roll, you're going to hear that. It's not going to persist forever, so don't worry.
It so happens that it's really annoying.
So the way combat works in this game is you have a basic 3-hit combo, and you also have the roll that I use to maneuver around. And the thing about the roll is you can cancel any attack by rolling. And this is useful not only in combat, but also in platforming.
So the arena that he just kind of fought in, where the wall is closed in on the sides, is a kind of a major part of this game that increasingly they're kind of managing to eliminate from the route by just doing different kinds of skips with platforming. And you should talk about this guy, I guess.
This is Uechivo. You can't really see him because I messed it up. But he's kind of the grand master of all luchadors, like the old man in a lot of kung fu flicks or something like that. And he has a lot of what they call Chuzo statues set up throughout the game. Shoutouts to Metroid. And all of those house our power-ups that we get. So like at the beginning of the game, I just set up a select door glitch warp there, which is going to let me skip basically the rest of the Forest del Chivo. The way select door glitch works, there's a lot of variables. Depending on what area you're in, how you entered that area, and what saves you've activated, it will warp you to different areas in that region. And another runner of this game, Protung, basically put in all of the work for that glitch. He mapped out all of the different indices and where they would warp you to and all that, so huge thanks to him. Nice, that's a really tough jump to get. So money at the beginning of the game is a little tight. There are a few power-ups that we need to buy. So I'll be stopping every once in a while to either get a treasure chest or a piñata or something like that. Here is a forced tutorial section of the game. It basically kind of teaches you different combos you can do and just gives you multiple options, but it's pretty simple. So if you have any donations, now is a pretty good time to do it.
Alright, I have a $100 donation from Imlas. It says, shoutouts from the entire Guacamelee speedrunning community. Beat up Puma Man and don't let the lightning jerks ruin it.
Thank you.
I have a $50 donation from Shadow that says, shout out to Guacalegend, who we only see on SGDQ to know he's still alive.
One thing to mention about moving is slopes actually slow us down, so I'm going to be short hopping on slopes as much as possible. And here we meet the Olmec statues. These are what the game intended you to use as warp points. And anytime you touch one, you can then warp to other ones that you've seen throughout the game. So now that we have Rooster Uppercut, we have a few more, at least, well, we have literally one more movement option. And you just saw right there, you might not have seen it, but like I said before, you can cancel by rolling any move. So we get high enough on the platform to get above it and then roll immediately after.
So, Anil8r, how do you pronounce the name of this character?
I believe it's pronounced Shitabe. It's spelled X''Tabay. So good luck with that.
Shoutouts to Alec-K47.
So now we're going to fight some Aluxes. These guys can be kind of random. Like he just gave me a high jump right there, which is annoying to deal with because I have to wait for him to come down. But that was a pretty good pattern there. Enemy spawns in the arena are set. So as long as I do everything correctly, I should be able to kill most things right when they spawn, or at least close to right when they spawn. There is RNG in this game, but only if you don't get quick kills on a lot of the enemies. So what I just collected right there, and I collected another one earlier, was a stamina chunk. If you look in the top left, there are those blocks. Those are what allow us to use our special powers, like the uppercut. And the way it works is, it's not one block equals one use. If even just a fraction of the block is filled up, you can use it. And the treasure chest I picked up, when you collect 3 of them, you get another block. Only 2 of the treasure chests in this room have gold in them, the rest of them have enemy skeletons. It is very important to kill giant skeletons as soon as you can because they will kill you one hit.
Something that you might not appreciate as you're watching Annihilator just demolish these skeletons here is that there's a lot of optimization in terms of the specific attacks that he uses and the order that he uses them. The community kind of knows how much damage each attack does, and each attack, of course, has a different amount. And so certain combinations of attacks can kill each enemy as quickly as possible.
Right, and the power-up I'm getting right now is the Olmec Headbutt, which does the most damage in the game. So a lot of the combos revolve around either headbutting just right away, or doing a certain amount of hits and then headbutting. So here I'm buying a 3rd stamina piece so that I have a 3rd stamina block. And I'm buying what's called the Stamina Delay Boost, which decreases the amount of time I have to wait before the stamina starts recharging.
Something you might be noticing with these mechanics is this game is really, I don't want to say derivative, but, you know, referential to other kinds of Metroidvania type games and Zelda games as well. So, of course, there's heart pieces, there's stamina chunks, and so on and so forth. But there's also a lot of kind of pop culture internet references. And
you can call them memes. Go ahead. Don't be shy.
Yeah, sure, they're memes, yeah. And those, you know, some people like them, some people don't, but they're all in good fun.
Oh, that's bad. I messed up the order in which I wanted to kill them in. So here we see the actual Alebrije, the inspiration for the costume I'm wearing. He's just taking a nap right now, but we'll meet him later. Right now, the next power-up we're getting is the goat jump, which they had to include the word goat in it, but it's just a wall jump. And for a lot of the rest of this dungeon, it's just basic platforming optimization and arena optimization. So if you want to rate a few more donations, you can go ahead.
I have a $35 donation from Joseph B that says, "Donations?" I have another $35 donation. I have another $35 donation from Ian13 that says, "Hi all, thanks to all behind the scenes folks for keeping this stream running. I will donate again if Zulf is saved." I have $20 donation from Eric Shields. It says $20 towards more karaoke. Also save the animals. Thanks for putting on such a great event. I have a $5 donation from Metroidman347 that says, "I feel obligated to try and undoubtedly fail at making a room of people laugh, so I'm going to say that SGDQ is like a bucket of wood shavings.
Sorry.
Unless they're in a pail, in which case it's like a pail of wood shavings."
That trick I just got there, I skipped one portal cycle, which saves a few seconds, but it's pretty difficult to get. So getting it first try is really nice. This is one of the first arenas in the game where you'll see how if you get it completely right, the enemies never get a chance to do anything.
Nice.
So spawns are set, and the next enemy that spawns depends on which enemies you've killed. So if I kill things in the right order, I know basically how long to wait until the next one shows up. I paused for a second there to let my stamina charge just enough to get that uppercut. And here we have the Alebrije who we woke up from his nap, Alebrije. Sorry, Fulgen. And this is just an auto-scroller. The Alebrije, if he touches you, it's one-hit death, but it's pretty simple. probably just jinxed myself by saying that, but...
That's not going to stop you from doing the swag, though.
Shoutouts to PJ. It is definitely possible to kill all those guys before the Ali Brihe shows up, but no way I'm trying that.
Boy, this lava pit looks familiar.
So yeah, lots of references in this game. Alright, so here we were trying to catch up to Kalaka, the evil skeleton, but we couldn't catch him, and we killed his pet, which Shitabe here was looking after, so she's not happy. And we don't really know where to go next, because this was the only clue we had. So like any true luchador down on his luck, we are gonna go to the bar.
That seems reasonable.
So this bar was closed before. It doesn't open until after the Ali Brihe dies. And this is Flameface. You'll only see him a couple times in this game. He's just in here and he's kind of just insulting us. And he only decided to put 2 bullets in his gun for some reason. And then he tells us that there is definitely absolutely nothing going on in the desert and that we should not check it. And then
seems like a smart guy.
Yeah, he gives us 15 bucks just because he wants to buy us a drink. This next power-up we're getting is the Frog Slam. It's basically just a ground pound. It's used to break these green blocks, but it also has another function in it actually gives you a tiny bit of height in your jump, which allows us to make some jumps that are either would be really difficult to make or just flat out impossible.
Incidentally, every time you break one of those Chuzar statues, Uechibo has a different bit of stuff to say about how his soul is slowly depleting as you break the only thing that he cares about in this world.
So coming up here,
Really
I need an audio cue for this, but we're gonna try and skip an arena down here. Nice, we got it.
Nice.
So if you fall down there, there's an arena that's one of the most random in the game. There are cactus enemies that throw grenades, and half the time they throw ones that you can't throw back, which is the only way to kill them. That saves probably 30 to 40 seconds. Get back here. Coming up, we bought the stamina delay boost level 1 earlier. We're gonna buy level 2, which is gonna let our stamina refill even faster. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about just having to wait for our stamina to refill at these blocks. And here we get introduced to shields. Different, when an enemy has a shield, you can only hurt them after you break it, and you can only break it by using the attack of the corresponding color. So, missed. That's a hard jump to, or hard attack to get. So red shields you have to hit with an uppercut, green with the frog slam, yellow with the headbutt, and then later on we'll get an attack that breaks blue shields. So when this, they're called chupacabras, when they get out of range, it's really difficult to deal with them. They're extremely random, and the way that room is laid out, it's just hard to deal with them when they start flying around everywhere. And here we get transported to the land of the dead, thanks to that is Shitabe's power that she has. And she tells us to reflect on our past and the mistakes we've made, but why would we do that? So we just skip the cutscene. And here Kalaka comes in and starts mocking us. You see Shitabe trying to warm up to him because she wants to be his girlfriend or whatever you want to call it, but Kalaka is only interested in the president's daughter as a sacrifice. And he turns us into a chicken, but because we have a costume on, it's a dragon chicken. And we can't change out yet. We are forced to do this part here.
Conveniently enough, chicken happens to be the fastest form of ground movement in the game.
Correct. So here we have no choice but to just wait for these guys to kill themselves. No matter how hard you mash or how many attacks you get, you cannot do enough to kill these guys. So I just like to play a game of try and get a high score. Ah, I didn't get it.
I was gonna donate $50 if you died there. Sorry.
So still, we're just jumping over slopes because they slow us down. And here we're gonna take damage here, use the invincibility to get through there a little faster. Make that jump, which is just barely possible. Here we have another really random arena. We're back with the Aluxes here. But all we can do is peck them. He gave me really good luck there. And we have another random room. These vines can shoot up at any time they want, at all, like that. I have enough health to take 1 damage boost, and that probably wasn't a good one for me to take. But we got through it all right. Now, if you'll, here we meet, it's not stated directly, but this is the devil. Kalaka tricked him and turned him into a chicken, but he gives us the power to change back and forth. If you'll remember, at the beginning of the game, we set a select door glitch in the forest, so we just warp right back as soon as we get Poyo power. Now, Poyo power gives us an interesting ability that is definitely not intended. We call it swap hopping. When you change from chicken form into human form while in the air, you have a frame where your character is in the standing animation. So he then has what we call the Wile E. Coyote effect, where he's just standing and then he goes into his fall animation. But because he's standing for 1 frame, we can buffer a jump because the game thinks we're standing on the ground. This is used for general platforming optimization, and it's actually going to be used to skip quite a bit later on. Unfortunately, as fun as it is to do, it is slower, so we just stick to the ground as much as possible.
I'm not sure if it's fully apparent just from the description how hard exactly swap hopping is, but
right.
If you can see his controller on the camera, which you probably can, he has to do this move where he hits left trigger and then left trigger, back left trigger, and then in a rhythm just repeat this over and over. It's really awful. While holding down the jump button too, and a direction, because why not?
Here we have our first boss fight versus Shitabe. Since obviously she isn't getting along very well with Kalaka, we want to try and convince her to join our side. And obviously the best way to do that is by beating her up. Whoa, that was weird.
New.
supposed to be dead. There you go. So Shitabe introduces an ability that enemies later in the game will start having, and that a lot of enemies late game can start dodging out of your combos at any point. There's no stun lock or anything like that. You can just hit them and then they roll away. Now we have the dimension swap, which lets us willingly swap between the land of the living and the land of the dead. Now, because you guys donated for it, I'm going to be going for the good ending. To get the good ending, there are 6 mask pieces in the game. One of them you get from the final boss. The other 5 are hidden throughout. And they all involve some kind of challenge or difficulty to get to them. Except, we're going to be skipping a lot of the challenge on most of them. The first one is back in our house. We come down here and there's magically a portal here, and we've got a bit of a maze here, and it's there's not really much to talk about, so if you want to go over donations, now's a good time.
Alrighty then, I've got a $150 donation from Pat Commander that says $150 put towards saving the mariachi band. We got a $100 donation from Fried Eel. It says shoutouts from the Guac community. We're cheering you on in Mumble. From Lady Smale, Bagel Thief, Imlas, Wesker, Turbo Dog, and Guy BB. Dan's game.
Thanks, you.
Rip Twitch chat.
$35 donation from Blate Odom. It says, good luck with the beady knocks, Nile.
So, since we set up our select door glitch in the forest earlier, there is another mask piece in the forest, and it just so happens that if we quit while in this room, it's going to put us right where we need to be. So if you have a sense of deja vu, don't worry about it. This is a different room.
Of course, the best part of the select door glitch is that every time you use it, the game correctly tells you that you are a quitter. That's a French joke.
Right now we're heading to the Thule tree, which probably has the most difficult platforming to optimize, but we don't have to worry about that at all. We're going to set up another select door glitch here. This one is a little bit more convoluted. I'm going to be going to a whole bunch of different places and quitting the game a lot. Again, if you want to go through donations, now's a good time for a while.
Okay, I've got a $100 donation from Wicked Bad that says, guacamole is delicious for eating, not fighting. We've got a $10 donation from GG8 that says, bearded fellow behind the couch gets to choose where this goes because his facial hair makes my pathetic stubble want to cry.
Thanks.
Alright, so as random as all that was, that skipped most of the Thule tree, and we're going to use the swap hopping that I talked about earlier to climb all the way up here, which is going to skip another arena over to the right. Right now we're getting the double jump ability, which is actually going to let us use another technique that most likely was not intended at all. But there's a little bit before that, so we'll get to that when we get there. you can keep going with donations.
Okay, I've got a $40 donation from Cerebulon. It says, missed a couple of days, been looking forward to this since SGDQ and probably won't be getting much done this week. I've got a $5 donation from Neckbearded Dragon that says, Pollo Power. Pollo Power.
Pollo Power.
Dragon Chicken Hype. Even says a reader's note that tells me how to say pollo.
So by going back here, this area lets us warp to the end of the Thule tree, which is gonna put us next to the Temple of War, which is where we need to be. It's really, like, coincidental. I don't even understand how it worked out like this, but it just so happens that all the different warps that we have are able to put us exactly where we need to be, even though it's definitely, there's no way that kind of glitch was thought at all.
Maybe you want to explain the wall hopping that you just did to climb that wall.
Oh, I'll do wall hopping in a little bit here, so I can describe it there. Here we're introduced to white shields. White shields, you have to hit them 4 or 5 times before you can do damage to them. I have to be careful around those guys because that stab attack they do will kill me in 1 hit. So wall hopping is a technique we can use to climb up walls like that. It's not difficult to do, but it's very difficult to do fast. You have to, it's just 4 inputs that you have to input, and the faster you do it, the faster you're gonna climb up the wall. Sorry, Eel, I'm not gonna go for your jump here. There is a way to climb up that wall to the right and jump off, but it is extremely difficult and it saves less than a second. Here we have the first sight of the hammer enemies. These enemies also kill us in 1 hit, so we have to kill them as fast as we can. And they also have the ability to dodge at any point after we attack them. Coming up, we're going to see Flameface again, and that's actually going to be the last time we see him, because after we get out of this arena, we're going to get an ability called, well, I won't spoil it for you guys. But after that, we're going to leave the temple, because we will have all the tools that we need to finish the game. There is a boss fight with Flameface in this temple, and there's another power-up called Go Climb, which lets us run up vertical walls. But since we have wall hopping, we don't need that ability.
And just to be clear, it is faster to ascend a wall using Go Climb if you get that, but it is not faster to go out of your way to get it.
Right.
Just so you can climb walls.
The time
faster.
More than evens out. So here, in case you can't read, they say we literally ran out of ideas for names. So now we have the Dashing Derp Derp. And we're gonna quit back to the Thule tree. And here we're going to get a couple more of the mask pieces that we need for the good ending. First, we're going to the Caverna del Pollo, which is a series of 3 gauntlets that have multiple arenas in them, with a lot of enemies and a lot of strong enemies. And if you die at any point in one of the gauntlets, it starts you at the beginning of that gauntlet. However, thanks to swap hopping, we're able to just go all the way around it. Do you have time to read a couple donations?
Okay, I've got a $35 donation from No Name that says SGDQ hype. Runner's choice where the donation goes.
Right now we're going to run back to Santa Lucita, but we're actually going to quit right away because that area, when we enter Santa Lucita from there, it's going to send us back to a very specific point in the Thule tree. This is coming up as probably the most difficult part of the run. At the top of the Thule tree, there's an area called the Treetops, and it is a platforming section that was designed entirely around 2 abilities, Goat Climb and Goat Fly. And we don't have either of those. So we have to kind of improvise on how we get to the top.
You want serious time for this?
I need a little bit of serious time because I need to listen to the audio. What? So that's the danger of treetops, is that falling at the top of an area sends you very far back down. And one thing to note about swap hopping is that when you turn from chicken form to human form in the air, you aren't allowed to use any of your abilities until you touch the ground. Come on. There we go. We're only halfway there, though. So there is a very small pixel on the edge of these platforms that you can stand on. Thank God, or else this would be a lot harder. If you're wondering why we don't just use swap hopping all the way up, it's very slow. You get almost no height from it. Nice, at least I got that jump. Where am I? There I go. Okay.
Nice.
That went a lot worse than I would have liked, but honestly, just getting up there is hard enough. So now I get to stretch a little bit if you want to read donations.
Okie dokie. I've got a $35 donation from Reborn X Soldier. Hello all. Glad things are going well this year and hope they continue to do so. This is one of my favorite events of the year and I am looking forward to watching the rest. Thanks for endless hours of entertainment. Thank you for your donation. So right, if you like what you see, check out Speed Demo's archive and Speedruns Live.
Here we're at... Go ahead.
For all your speedrunning inquiries and videos and streams.
Right here we're gonna get a cutscene skip, hopefully. Alright, we got it. The trigger for that cutscene is surprisingly small, so if you just work your way around it, you don't have to talk to him at all. This swap hop is particularly hard because there's a screen transition, so there's a few seconds where you can't see yourself at all. Alright, we got up there. Now we're gonna enter this arena, but we're actually gonna die right away. Normally you're intended to enter this arena from the right side, so when we die, it's gonna warp us to the right side of the room, which is where we wanna be. And here we're gonna get our final mask piece that doesn't include the one you get from the final boss. This area is called the Cueva de Lucura. It's, we've already had Metroid and Castlevania and all that, so why not add Mega Man? These blocks just work on a set timer. Luckily, with swap hopping, we can avoid most of them. Here we go. Uh-oh. Alright. One more section, and this section's pretty simple because we just fly over the whole thing. Alright, now that we have the fifth piece, after we pick it up, there's going to be some text shown. In case you don't speak French, it says something like "You feel lighter," which is supposed to be a hint that you've been given a new ability. You can't see it yet because it doesn't activate till you leave this room. But what it does is when you're in chicken form, and when you jump in the air, you can actually fly. So this helps us. This helps us a lot. It trivializes a lot of the platforming, and in terms of difficulty, it trivializes it. But it gives us a few more options as far as speed running.
That noise, though.
Yeah, I apologize, but you're gonna have to bear with that noise for a little bit. I'm pausing every once in a while here. Nice shot.
Wow, the snipe.
I have to pause every once in a while in there to let my stamina recharge. So normally there's a whole series of platforms over there that you have to jump up, and there's enemies trying to shoot you the whole time, but I can just fly up here. That's not the right color. So fun fact, I'm actually colorblind, and those two skeletons that have the colored shields there are actually two of very few enemies that can have random shields. So I couldn't tell that was blue, I actually thought that was green.
Go ahead.
I still managed to, there's another bomb that can spawn there if you're too slow in killing the enemies, but I still managed to kill them fast enough to skip him. So now we have the final ability, Goat Fly. This is the fastest form of movement in the game. Normally it's restricted to straight horizontal, but an interesting property of turning into chicken form is that it preserves your horizontal momentum. So we use that to our advantage a lot. Is still slower than wall hopping, presuming that you are wall hopping at a decent speed. So we're gonna go for another cutscene skip here. Jaguar Javier, the Jaguar character you've seen, he's supposed to stop and just kind of stare at us intimidatingly for a while, and we just let him. But we just ignore that and walk right past him. And funny enough, even though he's standing right there, he normally walks up here and stops you again, and now we're stopped by nothing, because the game thinks he's supposed to be there. Also, shout out to any Journey fans there. Now, Jaguar can be really difficult. He has two moves that we cannot dodge through. And one of them he can use just kind of spontaneously, so hopefully that doesn't happen. That's one of them. Oh, that was smart. Alright. That's a pretty good fight. He can be extremely random if he wants to. And he actually died in a pretty decent place. Depending on where he dies and where you end up, it can take a really long time to get through that. We're doing another cutscene skip here by simply just flying over the activation trigger for it. And we're about to enter the final temple, or the Grand Temple, I guess, if I want to be correct. The final temple has a lot of powerful enemies, a lot of difficult platforming sections. And it also introduces a new enemy that is the most annoying in the game, but we'll cover that when we get to him. That was really good right there. If those guys separate, then you're in all sorts of trouble. So after you kill 3 of these skeletons here, then 2 of these guys spawn. So I have to set it up to where I kill them in 2 groups of 2. Otherwise, it's very difficult to deal with all of them there at the same time.
By the way, this temple has a lot of really long wall climbing sequences.
And this temple is also very, very sparse, is that a word? With checkpoints. If you die in certain areas, you can spend up to 2 minutes backtracking to get to where you were. Oh. There we go. So even though we have Chicken Fly, we have to wall climb up this section. There are red blocks at the top, and like I said before, if you are a chicken and you turn back into a human, you can't use special attacks until you touch the ground. And that was a really good dimension tower. Only getting a miss jump once is really good. Hello? So coming up in the next arena, we are going to get introduced to the lightning skeletons. The lightning skeletons are the most random common enemy, or non-boss enemy in the game. Not only can they dodge whenever they want, but sometimes they can just start their attack even though you're attacking them, and there's nothing you can do to not get hit. Luckily, they were pretty nice to me there. Here we're gonna try and get a trick. Nice, we got it. So that jump is really hard to time to get through there. That is a jump called the Hyperfly.
Yeah, that's the fry deal.
Bagel Thief, actually.
Yeah.
Here we have the Bone Maze. 2 hits of any of these enemies will kill us, but hopefully I manipulated them the right way to where I can get through. There is some strange kind of RNG with these enemies, like even if you get into their attack range, they can just choose to wait until they throw. But we got through there all right. We're going to take a little bit of an alternative method to get through here. Oh. We're going to try to anyway. There we go. Probably lost all the time that I would have saved doing that, but that's okay. So here's another section. This section is actually the hardest to do normally in an any % run when you don't get chicken fly. It involves a lot of really, really tricky wall hopping.
He said as he trivially flew up the entire thing as a chicken.
Hey man, I'm a chicken. I'm too afraid to get through there. Oh. It is possible to kind of carry goat fly momentum through there, but it's a little tricky. Here we have the last arena of the game. Well, no, actually it's not. It's the last important one. And it's been appropriately called the worst room in the game. Because normally you can kill these lightning skeletons just in one combo if they're nice to you. But because there's more than one of them on the screen, one of them is bound to stay alive. Alright.
This room has also been called a lot of other things besides just the worst room in the game. But this is a family stream. Sort of.
So this is kind of the room that was designed for you to just show off all the different powers you have. These bombs, if they explode, you will die instantly. And I'm actually waiting a little bit before I attack them because their hitbox doesn't show up until a little bit after they spawn. so I have to be careful about that. Whoops. So coming up, we have a dramatic hallway scene and then a final climb. So if you want to get some donations in, now's a good time.
All right, I've got a $50 donation from Sylvia Maloney. For all those doctors out there, mwah. We've got a $35 donation from Cody that says, enjoying the stream while I am sick. Come on, Melee. We've got a $20 donation from Sid. Dear Vooligan, please do your best Tarn Flex. Thank you. Love, Sid.
Coming up, we have the final boss, Kalaka. There are 2 phases. The first phase is him teleporting around trying to attack you with various shields on. With extremely good luck and very tight execution, you can kill him in 2 cycles, but I will settle for 3 or 4 very happily.
As a quick note, this is another one of the enemies that has random shields, so...
Yeah. If you see me accidentally use the wrong attack, that's the excuse I'm going with. Nice. So the second phase, he starts off with 1 shield. It's random again. And then after that, I'm gonna just try to get as many headbutts in as possible because those do the most damage until my stamina runs out. And just dodge his attacks. Any one of his attacks kills me in 1 hit, so I have to be careful. Oh. Dodged a little too early there. Those rocks that are falling down, you can use to attack him while he's doing attacks that you're dodging, but you have to get kind of lucky in where they spawn. Now that he's dead, there's about a minute of just waiting until the end actually happens, so I'm just gonna thank, one, the Guac community, bunch of runners, Fried Eel, Proton, Bagel Thief, Lady Smail, Imless, Wesker, Turbo Dog. Hopefully I remembered all of you. Every single one of those runners has come up with at least something throughout this run, so it's definitely a accumulation of all of their efforts. And I definitely have to thank my parents and my grandparents. Not only did they donate to get this run in, but they were cheering me on in practice just all the time. So time is going to start end as soon as the screen fades, so time.
Hour 26. Almost. Barely missed an hour.
So now I get to see the good ending that you all donated for.
The feels. Close your eyes, kids. Just a random closing thought about timing this game. At the end of this credit sequence, there's going to be a game timer that's going to show up. And there's actually an online leaderboard for that game timer, but it turns out because you use the select door glitch and do all sorts of weird stuff, that timer is basically meaningless.
And also, the good ending isn't actually a category in the leaderboards, so it's going to tell me that I'm ranked 3, but that rank 3 is my best time. Not the time that I got on this run.
The image is very timely. Oh, also, shoutouts to Drinkbox Studios, who made this game, and
they're actually very supportive of the speedrun of it. They would actually like mention glitches that people have found in hopes that they would use them in a speedrun instead of patching them out.
Please don't patch the glitches, please.
All right, so thank you very much.